Football's on the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas Cowboys. I'll be honest with you. Like, I'm hearing people talk about this team actually winning the NFC East, possibly NFC, and I'll be straight up with you. Look at the NFC this year. It's not a foolish thing to think about. Like, to me, the hurdles are very small to get through to get there. It's Philadelphia, possibly San Francisco, and then them. We were talking with Kyle, our mutual friend, through the game, of course, part of the podcast, part of this show, of course, too. And look, I think it's a guarantee. Look, them getting to the playoffs is a guarantee, in my opinion. Like it's close, barring injury, of course.
Right, barring the unmentionables and the unforeseen.
Yeah.
I think playoffs should be a lot. If the playoffs aren't, if you don't make the playoffs, Mike McCarthy.
Oh God, yeah.
Hit the bricks, my dude. Like,
and then
get
you
the
probably,
hell out.
And then if they miss the playoffs, I'm thinking about blowing this team up at that point. Then you're like, okay, that's.
I mean, the hard thing is, if you miss the playoffs, okay. I mean, McCarthy's gone for sure. I guess potentially you could look at Dan Quinn as a replacement, but he's likely gone. But how do you get rid of Dak Prescott? Because who's going to take on that contract?
He has 1 year left or 2 year left.
I think it's 2 years, but it's heavy money.
Ooh,
and that's the problem. I guess you could potentially restructure or just whatever. I mean, these GMs and NFL executives always find creative ways to do things, but I think playoffs are a lock. To win the division. I think you're going to have to win both games against Philly. Because I think that like you want to hold that tiebreaker over them, right? Like, obviously you can win it without beating them twice. You definitely have to at worst split the season series with Philly. I mean, Philly's the team to beat in the NFC without question.
Yeah,
but I know, like from when we were talking to Kyle, and we're gonna talk about it with the student of the game on his NFL preview show here in a couple weeks. But looking at the Cowboys now, I don't. And this is a and this is preseason, Jim. Remember this. This is preseason.
You love preseason.
Preseason is the best time of year to be a Dallas Cowboys fan because they haven't heard us.
Exactly.
They haven't heard us. But really, I mean, they went 12-5 last year for the second straight year, and that was with basically one wide receiver, right?
Yeah,
because you had Lamb, you had Michael Gallup on a bad leg who had to go get surgery again this offseason. You had a bunch of rookies that went brick hands and caused a lot of interceptions, and you had T.Y. Hilton came in the last 5 games of the regular season and the playoffs. So, and like the wildest part about that is he basically became your number 2 when coming out of retirement. T.Y. Hilton is your number 2 receiver. You don't have a number 2 receiver, and then their tight end situation was kind of a weird one in flux. Your offense basically lived around Tony Pollard, so they added weapons this offseason. They got better on the defensive side of the ball. I'm curious to see what the new offense is going to look like, because I do think that Kellen Moore was a big problem. So and you look at the rest of the NFC. I mean, I would take Dallas against anyone in the North right now. I would take Dallas against anyone in the South right now.
Well, for sure.
And I would take Dallas probably over anyone in the West right now, with maybe the exception being San Francisco.
And I'll be honest with you, it's almost even, because it's not like San Francisco just dominated Dallas. These games come on the wire.
Exactly. And so, I don't trust Seattle. I don't I know Geno Smith had the had the resurgent year of a lifetime last year, but can he do that again? I don't know. How long will Matt Stafford and the Rams be okay? Now, I know everybody wants to talk about Stetson Bennett and how great he looked in the
Oh
fourth quarter of
Lord,
the
we're doing
Rams'
that, aren't
first
we?
preseason game, but let's tap the brakes on Stetson Bennett. I'm Dallas to me is at worst the third best team in the NFC right now. Again, we're time stamping it middle of August. Like going into this season with what they were last year and what they did in the offseason, at worst, they're the third best team in the NFC.
If they go
So
9-8, it's a disappointment. I'm sorry.
absolutely. Absolutely. You've had 2 12-win seasons and you got better this offseason. You you have to be at least that good.
And a weaker conference on top of that.
Yeah. Now I know they play the AFC East, so like that is a challenge in and of itself, but that's 4 games, right? That is only 4 games.
They're better than New England. I think they're better than New England.
Yeah,
They're
they're
probably
better than New England. In Miami, it's going to depend on quarterback health. The Jets, I mean, the Jets are the most probably the most fascinating team in the NFL going into this season. Yeah. And then, the Bills, I've said it for multiple seasons, man. This Bills team is going to have so much pressure on it this year. We're going to find out what that team's made of.
Oh, we know. We'll find out immediately because, again, like I told you,
don't fucking do this. We were having such a nice conversation.
No,
don't do this.
Yeah. Must win.
There's plenty of time for that. But yeah, I mean, but again, this is what it comes down to. Mm-hmm. Can the Cowboys take that next step? Right?
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. I don't care about a win wild card weekend. I don't care about 13 or 14 wins in the regular season. I don't care about that. I'm over that. So, get me to the NFC title game. Get me to the Super Bowl.
I was going to ask you that.
Title game. Get me to a title game, please. Like, and like I'm sitting there and all this offseason, and like I've seen these Cowboys fans like trying to like dog on Jalen Hurts and the Eagles because they lost in the Super Bowl. I'm like, are you out of your fucking mind? What I wouldn't give to be in that spot, to be beaten by Patrick Mahomes on a last second drive, like to be right there. Would it suck? Sure. But Jesus Christ, we haven't been there since I was 10 years old, right?
Let it out. This is therapy. Like, podcast. This is therapy, buddy.
Just get me there. I'm not a guy that so like when this hockey season, when the Hershey Bears went to the Calder Cup finals, I didn't buy a single piece of like Eastern Conference champion merchandise. Mm-hmm. And if the Bears would have lost in the finals, I still wouldn't have bought any because like I've seen the Bears have won that I can remember. This would be 1, 2, 3, cup number 5 that I can vividly remember. They won in 96. Mm-hmm. They won 96, 97, 05, 06, 08, 09, 09, 10, and now this year. So that's 5 that I vividly remember in my lifetime. Cups, the only thing that matters to me as a Hershey Bears fan is cups. When the Capitals made it to the Stanley Cup Finals, I didn't buy a single piece of Eastern Conference champion merchandise because I'm like, it's all or nothing, man. It's all or nothing. I want to see my team win a title.
I confess. 2007, I bought the NFC Championship hat because I thought there was no chance to beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Well, that's fair.
And then we.
However, I would probably break my own rule if the Cowboys made it to a Super Bowl. I would wait to see if they won the Super Bowl or not. But if they lost the Super Bowl, I think I would still buy some Eastern or some NFC champion merchandise because it has been so long since they've even gotten there. Like just prove to me that this team is actually making marked improvement. Because I've seen them win 13 games in a regular season. They've done it a lot, actually.
Mm.
In the Dak and Romo eras, I've seen 13 win seasons and 12 win seasons. Prove to me that this year is going to be something different. At least get me the NFC title game.
I have a sneaky suspicion Dallas will be good this year. Look, I know it's fun to make fun of the Cowboys. It's fun because that's what we do because the Cowboys and America's team. But they are a very good football team. Yeah. Take away Illinois. They are a very good football team.
I will warn everybody that knows me and listens to me and follows me. 5 years ago, when the Capitals won the Stanley Cup, I was borderline and probably insufferable, like posting about it and bragging about it. If the Cowboys ever win a Super Bowl, people will hate me because it'll be nearly 30 years of pent up frustration, anger. Like, hockey is my number one sport. The Capitals, the Bears, hockey is my number one sport. But I live an hour and a half from Philadelphia. I have dealt with being a Cowboys fan in Eagles country for my entire life. Mm-hmm. I've had to deal with, you're just a bandwagon fan, which, first off, let me address that, right? If I have lived through the Chad Hutchinson, Drew Henson, Quincy Carter, the long line of quarterbacks, Vinny Testaverde, Drew Bledsoe. If I lived through the years between Aikman and Romo, you can no longer call me a bandwagon fan.
Agreed.
Because I'd have been off the wagon a long time ago, man.
Yep.
If I was just hopping from champion to champion.
You cannot quit the narcotic, man. That's the thing. You can't quit it.
I cannot. I'm sitting here right now with my Cowboys phone case on my phone. It's about football season. So I've had to deal with that. I've had to deal with. I miss the days when, like, I could make jokes about the Eagles not having any rings, and then they go and win a fucking Super Bowl.
See, that I missed. See, that as a Giants fan, I fucking missed that shit.
Yeah, I still seeing like old like Facebook memories of like, when like because the Eagle, like all the NFL teams will have like a sponsored like Bud Light can or Coors Light can, and it would leave a ring. I remember like it would leave like a sweat ring on the table. It's like that's the only ring an Eagles fan can have. I miss those jokes. But so I can't make those anymore. Then they almost win again, and the Eagles look primed to have a shot at repeat. So I've dealt with a lot. So maybe self-inflicted, whatever. But 30 years, man, 30 years of pent up frustration will come out if the Cowboys ever win a Super Bowl, and I will be unbearable. I'm warning people now if it ever happens.
So you